I still remember the exact moment my wife said something that completely changed how I saw our marriage. It was a quiet evening, nothing unusual. Just the two of us sitting in the living room after dinner. We had been married for 3 years and had recently started talking about having kids. I thought we were planning a future together, but the look on her face that night told me something was different. There was hesitation in her voice, like she was about to say something she had been thinking about for a long time. When my wife told me she wanted to spend just one night with another man, I didn't get angry. I did something she never expected. She looked at me and said almost casually, "Before we have kids, I want to live one fantasy. Just one night. After that, we can move on with our lives like nothing happened." For a moment, I honestly thought she was joking, but the seriousness in her eyes told me she wasn't. My chest felt tight, but strangely, I didn't feel the urge to argue. I didn't shout. I didn't accuse her of anything. Instead, I smiled. That smile confused her immediately. She expected anger, maybe even a big fight. But I simply stood up, walked into our bedroom, and pulled a suitcase out of the closet. From the hallway, she asked, "What are you doing?" I didn't answer right away. I just started folding her clothes and placing them carefully into the suitcase, one shirt after another, one dress after another. By the time she walked into the room, her expression had completely changed. "Why are you packing my things?" she asked nervously. I zipped the suitcase, picked it up, and calmly said, "It's the life you want to explore. You should start tonight." The silence between us after that felt heavier than anything we had ever experienced in our marriage. During the drive, she kept staring out the window while the city lights passed by. Finally, she broke the silence and asked quietly, "So, the signo de interrogación. You're just letting me go?" I kept my eyes on the road and replied in the calmest voice I could manage, "I am not letting you cheat on me. I am letting you go find the life you think you want." When we reached her friend's apartment building, I parked the car and placed her suitcase on the sidewalk. She sat there for a moment, holding the door handle but not opening it. Before stepping out, she looked at me one last time, and for the first time that night, the confidence in her face was gone. In its place was something else, doubt. At that moment, I realized something important about love, respect, and self-worth. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do in a relationship is refuse to beg someone to stay.
When she stepped out of the car, she didn't close the door immediately. She stood there for a moment, looking back at me like she wanted to say something but didn't know how. Maybe she expected me to stop her. Maybe she thought I would suddenly change my mind and ask her to come back home. But I didn't. I just sat there quietly, hands on the steering wheel, letting the silence say everything I needed to say. She finally picked up her suitcase and slowly walked toward the building entrance. Just before going inside, she turned around one last time. Our eyes met for a brief second, and I could see the realization slowly hitting her. Some choices don't just create a moment. They change an entire future. I drove away without looking back again. That night was the night our marriage truly ended. Not because she wanted a fantasy, but because she was willing to risk everything we had built together, just to experience it. And in that moment, I understood something that took me years to learn. Love should never require you to sacrifice your self-respect. Sometimes the hardest decision is also the one that saves you